Theresa May will tell British Parliament today that 95% of the Brexit deal is done, as rumours mount of a rebellion against her plan by pro-Brexit Conservative MPs. With the possibility of a no-confidence vote looming, Prime Minister May will promise the House of Commons today that some of Brexit's main sticking points have been solved. Brexit Secretary Dominic Raab used a British TV appearance on Sunday to urge Conservative MPs to play for the team, while also admitting that they had just weeks to find solutions. On Saturday, hundreds of thousands of EU supporters marched through London calling for another vote, this time on the final deal. Well, joining us live now from Westminster is Vincent McAviney to take a look at all the weekend's movements. Good morning, Vincent. Where is this speculation of a no-confidence vote coming from?
Good morning, Belle. Well, for weeks now, we've heard that the letters of no confidence, which trigger a leadership race in the Conservative Party, have been mounting. They go to the party's 1922 committee chairman. Once he gets to the threshold, which is 48, he then has to announce that this no confidence motion has passed and that a leadership election takes place. Now, in the party conference season, we heard that the toll was around 38. It's not publicly announced, but it was rumoured to be about 38, with one no confidence letter even going in just before the Prime Minister's speech. But over the weekend, reports have come out in the Sunday newspapers that the toll is now sitting at around 46 letters, so just 2 away from triggering that leadership race. Now, to replace Theresa May, the successful candidate would actually have to get around 158 MPs behind him or her. So at the moment it's unclear where exactly the Prime Minister sits, but she's going to have to come back here today to the House of Commons to make that speech in which she'll say, as you mentioned, 95% of the deal is done. There's new protocols agreed on Cyprus and Gibraltar to look like that she did get some headway last week, but she's facing the backbenchers laying down a possible amendment today to be voted on that the Prime Minister would sort of then be deadlocked into when it comes to Northern Ireland, that the Northern Ireland Assembly, which currently isn't sitting and hasn't been for over 18 months, would have to vote on whatever it is that the Northern Ireland settlement is on the backstop, something that would kind of bind her. And she's also going to have to appear before that backbench 1922 committee on Wednesday in what's being branded a show trial. And one unnamed MP over the weekend said that she needs to bring her own noose to that. This is the level of rhetoric now being pointed at this Prime Minister.
Well, you sort of touched on it there, but I mean, crucially, how much cross-party support does May have for her Brexit plans?
Well, you mentioned that around 700,000 people actually marched through these streets in London showing their support for a second referendum over the weekend, and some Labour MPs took part in that march. Some Conservative MPs did, the Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan. But interestingly, the Labour front bench, Jeremy Corbyn and his team, didn't march and didn't mention it on their social media over the whole weekend, even though Jeremy Corbyn has always been a fan of a big march, and that was the second biggest one since the Iraq War march. So it's interesting that the Labour leadership seem to be ignoring that, and they have said that if the tests that they have set forth are passed, they will vote it through. And there are splinter groups now, some MPs like Caroline Flint, a Labour MP last week, saying we've just got to get through whatever the Prime Minister can get us for the sake of the nation. So there is some cross-party support, but things here are getting really fractured and really heated.
All right, thank you, Vincent. And we should remind viewers as well, of course, that that second vote Vincent talked about would be a vote on a final deal and not on Brexit itself.